Right, so today we're going to be previewing the most successful IPL franchise, which is, of course, Mumbai Indians. And there's a little bit of rejig, a little bit of reshuffling, but it's similar faces, the usual candidates that we normally see that they have and that they boast upon. So, of course, what are we waiting for? Mumbai Indians that we're going to be discussing today. And like always, we're going to be, of course, welcoming one of our esteemed writers. Good morning to you, Anirudh Suresh. How are you this morning?
Yeah, thanks, Avnish. I'm doing good. I'm probably wearing the wrong colors today while previewing Mumbai, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's dive right into the preview.
Absolutely. I mean, I introduced them as the most successful franchise, and let's be fair, it kills me as an RCB fan to talk about Mumbai in such high regard. But look, this is our job at the end of the day, and they've done some good business in the auction. We can show you their squad depth straight away instead of any more fluff. And what strikes you the most here? I mean, is it the Indian core like they've always had? Is it the new bit of energy that they've kind of got in? Tell me about this Mumbai Indian squad, Anirudh.
So first of all, I think the main area which stands out for me, I think, in my personal opinion, a very good purchase was Tim David. They spent like 8.25 crore on him, but that almost takes care of the void left by Hardik Pandya. Obviously, they let go Pandya and they needed a finisher, and Tim David has proven himself everywhere he's played till now. Obviously, IPL is a whole different ball game altogether, but you can only go by statistics, and you cannot write off a player before you buy him. So Tim David is a very good signing, and obviously everyone talks about Jafra Archer and how he won't be available for this season, but it makes it clear that Mumbai have a long-term strategy in that sense. Some of the purchases like Tilak Verma, he's a very young batsman who plays for Hyderabad, and even Rahul Buddhi, he's a good finisher. I think he also plays for Hyderabad. And purchases like this suggest that they're looking forward to the future, and probably they are even okay with like finishing outside the I won't say outside the top four, but maybe they are not too keen on winning a title this season. Might be a bonus because it looks like they're building a team for the next this cycle. It feels like they're willing to just let the season go. The team looks like that to me.
Yeah, I mean, try telling that to Akash Ambani. He'd probably shoot us down. But having said that, though, you mentioned some real hidden gems that we could, of course, see Mumbai Indians unearth. They've always kind of done that, to be fair. Let's now put that starting 11 down. Now, this is, of course, according to you and the rest of the guys of the CDC team. Now, Surya Kumar Yadav, I understand he has some sort of injury, I think a hairline fracture of some sort, which he sustained. So I think he's going to be missing that initial part of the tournament. Who comes in for him? And more importantly, do you think this is their strongest 11 on paper?
First of all, to answer the Surya Kumar Yadav question, if he does indeed miss the first match, I think they have two options. One is bringing a direct Indian player. It will either be Anmol Preet Singh. They can let Anmol Preet Singh either play at 3, 4, wherever they want, and then they can retain the same set of foreign players. Another option is obviously bringing in Deval Brewis, the baby AB for those who are unaware. So
Yep.
baby AB into the 11, and but that would mean probably sacrificing a bit on lower order depth because you have to take out Fabian Allen or Daniel Sams, whoever plays. So, and obviously there is an outside candidate in Rahul Buddhi. Like I said, he's a left-handed powerful hitter who has a decent Syed Mushtaq Ali record till now. And if there's one thing we know about Mumbai, we've learned about Mumbai, it's that they know who they pick. They know their
Yeah.
picks. Like we've seen with Pandya, we've seen with Bumrah, and how many players have we seen it with? So if you're an uncapped Indian player, if Mumbai are fielding an uncapped Indian player, you better be prepared. So
Absolutely. No, sorry to cut you off. You mentioned a couple of names there, like Rahul Buddhi, of course. You also touched upon Anmolpreet Singh, and maybe he could be demoted down the order because I'm guessing Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma will be opening. To just fill in that particular slot in the middle order, is there a possibility that Sanjay Yadav as a left-hander could be filled in? Because there are lots of righties. I also kind of noticed that.
yeah, so the Sanjay Yadav can play, but the only question is, I'm not exactly sure if he can be called a batting all rounder. I mean, he does play in the top four in the TNPL, and for his, I mean, he's also played in the top five for Tamil Nadu, but Tamil Nadu have a whole different strategy altogether. So it won't be feasible for Mumbai to replicate the same strategy. So, and he's not a power hitter as such. He's not someone who can like go big from ball one. Maybe they can use him as an accumulator, but it would still make more sense to play a more accomplished domestic batsman in Surya Kumar Yadav's place, so that they're not taking any risks. So I guess if Sanjay Yadav does play in the 11, it might be as a specialist spinner, or like a spin bowling all rounder at number 8, and we have mentioned Murugan Ashwin in our predicted starting 11. So there is a
Correct.
chance that Murugan Ashwin might sit out and Sanjay Yadav might play. But the only problem with that is if you take out Murugan Ashwin from this 11, there is no legs, there is no attacking spinner. So who will take wickets for you in the middle overs? That becomes a question. So that is one of the reasons why I think the person who starts will be either one of Murugan Ashwin or Mayank Markande. So
Yeah. And let's go back to that 11 because you make a vital point there. Look, they always enjoy versatility in their attack. We've seen that over the years. Bumrah, of course, is a no-brainer. Timal Mills, of course, will have a big role to play given the fact that no Joe for of this season. Do you think that Jaydev Unadkat, another left arm option, is a good one, or do you think they'll go with someone else in that pace department?
I think Unadkat is a pretty decent choice. It's not bad at all because, yeah, you can say that they have already a couple of left armers in the 11, I'm sorry, Timal Mills and Jaydev Unadkat, but they are
Correct.
completely different bowlers. You know, like Unadkat is someone who enjoys bowling in the power play. He has a very good economy rate. And even for Rajasthan last season, he did pretty well in the power play. And if Mumbai do utilize him well, then he can do a job for them in the power play. So that's one of the reasons I think they'll go with Unadkat. And if you look at the bench, it does not have too much Indian bowling depth. There is obviously there is Basil Thampi and Arshad Khan and Arjun Tendulkar.
Yeah,
I'm
and
not sure.
Arjun Tendulkar.
Yes, and but again, he's another left armer, so there's no. I mean, it's a way. I don't think he'll play. So there's only really Basil Thampi. But again, when you have someone like a Bumrah who kind of bowls 140 plus Yorkers fast, I don't think they need someone like Basil Thampi whose USP is also basically bowling Yorkers. So and Timal Mills is a very good death bowler anyway. So they have right now they have two very good death bowlers in Bumrah and. Uh, Timal Mills, and all they need is someone who can do a job in the power play. And I think Unadkat is capable of doing that.
Yeah, I mean, there's something about Rohit Sharma and enjoying left arm pacers in the nets, whether it's Mumbai Indians over the years as well. We can roll back the clock and think about people like James Franklin, of course. The others which come to mind, Mitch McClanagan is another one which, of course, features. Now, I know over the years they've kind of unearthed talents and there could be hits and misses. I mean, Bumrah is, of course, a clear hit. There was misses in terms of Abu Nechim. But there's another name there, Ramandeep Singh. Is that of any interest because he's a pace bowling all rounder, as this squad depth chart shows us? Do you think they can slot him perhaps, or is that wishful thinking?
Yeah, so I think he'll probably be a backup for one of the overseas finishers. I mean, he does play in the lower order for Punjab, and he bowls probably like at a pace of like 115 to 120, and he's a pretty clean striker of the ball. But it's really hard to see him getting into the starting 11. And we are talking about a full strength team, of course. It
Correct.
just feels that when you have great firepower in Tim David, Kyron Pollard, Fabian Allen, or Daniel Sams, all these guys can hit big sixes. Playing Ramandeep Singh in there, I'm not sure how it will benefit the team for now, but probably he's probably a good backup to have. And who knows, this is a mega auction, so they have bought these people keeping in mind the next 3-4 years, not just this season. So even if Ramandeep Singh does not play any games this season, he can evolve going back to domestic cricket. He can probably add a few more things to his arsenal and come back a different player next season or the season after that, and then he'll be a valuable utility. So we have to keep in mind as well, it's not every player picked in the squad is being picked for this season. It's
Yeah.
a long term project, especially with Mumbai, the buys they have kind of snapped. So yeah.
Yeah, and we've seen that over the years, the fact that they kind of drip feed their youngsters in. Let's see how that really unfolds in due course of time. Final question to ask you here in terms of just wrapping up this preview. You get your predictors hat on because, look, you start off the preview by saying that they might not really be competing in all fronts this year, but going forward, of course, we know how strong they can be. If you have to kind of put a number where they'll finish in the league stage, how do you think it'll all unravel for them?
It is very difficult to call that because now we have a ten team league as well. So making the top four will be even more difficult. But I do think, I mean, we saw Mumbai missed out on the top four last season. So, anything can happen. But again, Mumbai are the kind of team who can probably win the title with like 11 pieces of wood. So it is hard to predict with Mumbai. They're either here or here. So I would just say that their bowling looks a bit weak this time around. This is not something you associate with Mumbai, but especially in the spin department, they've let go Rahul Chahar, they've let go Krunal Pandya, R Murugan Ashwin and Fabian Allen, Sanjay Yadav, Mayank Markande, guys like these capable of winning you matches. I'm not sure. And I would say the similar thing in the pace department. A lot rests on Bumrah because yes, you've got Timal Mills who has been great in the 100 and the Vitality Blast and all those competitions. Yes, you have got someone like Riley Meredith in the bench who can bowl like 150 clicks, but who is your Trent Bolt? Who will take wickets up front for you? You can't expect Bumrah to do everything. Unadkat
Yeah.
has been around the scene for like 11 years, and yes, he has great experience, but would you really back him to win you a season, especially after the kind of seasons he's had in the last 3-4 years? That's a doubtful thing. But I would say if their batting can click, and I mean click in the sense that properly demolish teams, then I sense they could probably make a unlikely run to the final. I'm saying unlikely because of how their squad looks. But if Jofra Archer returns, once Jofra Archer makes his way into the starting 11 next season, it's a completely different thing altogether. And we won't be talking in the same tone, and we would be like, oh, Bumrah, Mills, and Archer, what's happening. So let's wait and watch what happens this season. Let's not be too harsh on them because you can always trust the Mumbai think tank what they're doing. There's enough years of data to back this claim. So let's just wait. But they will be a dangerous team. You don't want to be messing with them this season.
Yeah, you write them off at your own peril, that we can tell. And of course, there might be a little bit of skepticism that you guys are watching this and feeling this. But look, me and Anirudh could well end up with egg in our face with Mills and Bumrah chipping into the party. And like he said, if the batting fires on all cylinders, it could be a completely different ballgame. Anirudh, Suresh, thank you so much for joining us in this little chat. We'll catch you soon. Until then, subscribe to the YouTube channel and, of course, visit the website for all the analysis throughout this toughest T20.